Okay, awesome. All right, see, I knew this would get you guys going for this. We're doing this episode of the Craving Consciousness podcast, and I'm recording it live in your Spiritual Awakening community on Facebook. So, hi guys. If you don't know me, right? My name is Brandaline Johnson. I'm also known as Spiritual Awakening Babe. That's my handle on Instagram at Spiritual Awakening. Priscilla, oh, she says she follows my YouTube. Yay! I love my YouTubians as well. That's where so many people find me. It's so amazing. I love Spirit sends people to my YouTube. And that's also Spiritual Awakening Babe on YouTube. So, but today I want to ask you, like, are you living your life as a robot? And I want to talk to you about that. And I want to explain it to you in a kind of a quantum theory and help you realize how you may just be living in the past every single day. And it's going to blow your mind. So think of it this way, like every morning you wake up and you start to become aware of who you are, right? And then you become aware of your body and you kind of walk to the coffee pot and you take a shower and then you start, just remembering, who you were, right? And you take the same actions, you take the same road to work, you talk to the same people, you have the same feelings about the places that you're going, you think the same thoughts, you say the same words, and it's all based on a memory of who you were yesterday. So, like, is this blowing your mind already? Like, I want to know. So in reality, like, you're just living in the past every single day because what you believe yourself to be is something that you've built up all the way from the past. But once you come up with your program, and it is a program, your brain is a computer. Once you have this program, you never really do anything different, right? Very rarely, unless something happens, like you get in a car crash, something that shocks you awake, right? Or a death or something along those lines. So essentially, there's no room for change whatsoever if you live a predictable life. Right? Let me repeat that again. Like, there's no room for change whatsoever if you live a predictable life. You're going down the same road, you're buying the same kind of car. Like, we can even talk about ancestral, like maybe your family only buys Fords or only buys American or only buys Toyotas, right? So you're just going through the motions of something that was set up for you in the past. And this means that you will never have something new in your life. You'll never have miracles because you're literally just repeating your emotions and thinking the same thoughts every single day. And so this becomes a real problem, right? Now, on the side of this, I also want to tie this into like investing in yourself and doing self-work. And what happens when that opportunity comes up for you is you think the same thoughts about, you used to think about money, you think the same thoughts about the fear of having money, and you can't even imagine yourself becoming someone new. And so when an opportunity for you to grow, you feel this fear because it's based on some past belief that you have, and you just keep going through those same motions. So some people get stuck here if they like never invest in themselves, even like just, I'm talking about a program, a coach, a book, a seminar, all these things that are there for us to grow, right? The same thoughts come up, and so we don't change, and we don't get change, right? We don't invest in ourselves, so we don't get changed. And so on the heels of this, like, I wanted to kind of like just shout out a couple of my girls that are in the quantum program. Some of you guys watching this, maybe we're thinking about the quantum program, and maybe fear came up for you and you didn't take that action, right? And so you might be asking yourself, are you still in the same position with your business as you were when we were launching, right? Well, two of the girls, and it's only been, 4 weeks? It'll be starting the 5th week on Thursday. So in 4 weeks, two of them have already made more than their investment back in 1 month. And I believe both of them were actually really fearful about making that investment. But look what's happened in 4 weeks. And one of them made their money back in 2 weeks, more than their money back. And then the other girl made her money back in just 4 weeks. And this wouldn't have been possible had they not signed up for this program. The minute that you decide to come out of living as your robot and take actions that you used to never take, that's when you're starting to create your new life, right? Because nothing new, nothing magical. And we're even talking about, so let's shift from investing, because I love to like give you guys a couple scenarios so you really, your perspective really changes. When we're even talking about spirit, right? If we're talking about spiritual development, if we're talking about spiritual awakening, but you go through the same motions every single day, your spirit guides are over there like, hey lady, we want to tell you something magical. We want you to learn the law of attraction. We want you to hear us. And you're just over here like, it's time for coffee. Gotta check my Facebook. Because like, where's your energy? Where's your focus? Right? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Twitter? Is it on on your spiritual path, Priscilla? And hey Tina, and hey Emmy, and hey Cindy, and Mary, and Jessica. So glad you're jumping on here live with us too. So a lot of times you're living in this robot world and you're actually just unconscious your whole life, because you're just living as that past version of yourself. Isn't it crazy when you think about it that way? But your focus is so scattered. And when we think about it energetically, a little piece of you is on Facebook, a little piece of you is on Twitter, a little piece of you is thinking about your parental relationships, a little piece of you is thinking about what's for dinner, right? But you're completely unconscious when it comes to this conscious world. So are you living your life as this robot? And remember, there's no room for change or growth or the unknown when you're living a predictable life. So what can we do? We need to start making unpredictable new actions. We need to become conscious that we're actually living an old version of ourselves, right? An old belief of ourselves. Like even thinking about the shape of your body every morning you wake up and you're like, oh, yep, that's what it looks like. And you have thoughts about it. Whereas if you're sitting in meditation, I was talking about meditation, and I love all the value that I'm like totally blowing your mind here with, right? This is what me and my one-on-one coaching clients work through all the time. Like it's really a mind fuck, right? Yes. So we're talking about your body image. So meditation. When we're meditating, right, and we get to this spot, we don't have a sex, we don't have a name, we don't have a body, we don't have a job, we don't think about money, right? We're just in this quiet space. And this is where you could start becoming the observer when we're meditating. And this is when spirit could sneak in and let you know that you are not the body, you're not the mind, right? That you are infinite. And then when we get back inside of ourselves, right? Because I have a really cool video somewhere on YouTube called Get Back Inside Yourself. If you haven't watched that, it kind of goes along with this. When we get back inside of ourselves, deep, right? Deep into the cosmos, that's when we are like, I am so much more than I thought I was. And I have so much more to offer myself and this world by waking the frick up and stop being a robot, right? So Pam's saying, let me read what you guys are saying. Priscilla's seen my programs. She's on a spiritual path. You're in the right place here in our community, your spiritual awakening community on Facebook. And then Pam says, when you get brave to put yourself out there financially and invest in yourself that seriously, you actually take that move very seriously and you take more action and force yourself to move forward, even though you're scared shitless. 100%. Can you guys all agree? I always tell you guys, it's the power of pushing the button, right, Pam? And I'm so proud of you. Right? And most of the time we could astral project. That happens a lot. So astral project, yeah. And hey, Lisa, and that's not really, I'm not really talking about astral projection, but I mean, that is a point. I'm more talking about being the nowhere, because when we're astral projecting, I think, do you not still believe that you're Brandolian and you have this body and it's laying over there, right? You're still aware of yourself as yourself. But when we're meditating, that's when you lose yourself. And that's when you're able to feel peace, right? And that's when you're able to heal. And that's what this is kind of about, because if we go through the same motions, we think the same thoughts, we do the same things, and we're completely living our life unconscious, and we're completely living our life based on a past version of ourselves, then we never become a new version of ourselves, right? But what can happen here is if our thoughts and our beliefs are out of alignment with source, right? That's when we can manifest dis-ease into our life. Because this is something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I love to write myself notes about what I want to talk to you guys about, and my one-on-one coaching clients and my people that work with me in programs is essentially all of those thoughts and all those motions that you go through create your biology. It actually creates the way you're shaped. And like, I could get super deep into this and I'll probably stop, but this is where us psychics can look at somebody and know exactly the thoughts that they're thinking. Sure, when you're an empath and stuff, you could feel somebody else's vibration and be able to feel their emotions and stuff. But once you work with spirit for so long, like literally I could see the shape of somebody's body and I could tell what they do for a living, and I could tell what they think, and I could tell how much energy is compacted in certain places. And so these are all based on them living their life as a robot, and it just builds into them. And you could literally I could literally tell a nurse like right away, especially a nurse. But anything, it's because of their body is shaped that way because they've been thinking that way, right? Does that make sense? So everything you see outside of yourself, and including your body, is based on your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations, but it's also living in your past. So for example, you know, like maybe your family has a history of like heart disease or whatever. But that's just a thought that you have. And so you just keep thinking, oh, you're almost bringing that in the past. And yes, you can change your biology by changing your thoughts. It's proven science. It's freaking super geeky. This is how geeky I get. This is how geeky I get. And I just keep getting geekier because I'm an energy nerd, right? So you guys, how can you stop living your life as a robot? Number one, you need to start meditating. And number two, you need to start taking different actions, right? No matter if that previous fear comes up for you, you need to take that investment, right? Because could you imagine if your life was just like it is right now and you keep having the same old money problems and you keep trying to grow your business on your own, and you keep trying to shift your relationships on your own, and you know, even if you're just reading stuff on Google, it's just not the same. It's just not the same because you're not introducing any new thoughts or ways of thinking into your life. Yeah, so you guys got to take a different way to work. I always tell you guys to do that. You got to meditate so that you could become the observer and allow yourself to get outside of yourself, right? And then back into yourself. Maybe it might be confusing at this point, but so I'm sending you guys all love. I hope you really enjoyed this training to help support you through your spiritual awakening process from beginning to biz.